afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending where you're watching from. Time for episode 4 of the Sym rebuild. So quick catch up on what we got done this week. We just got a new air filter fitted, just a cheap Chinese one, which is I think it's about a 35 or 38 mil that goes over the carby there, and just chrome filter. So the reason I replaced that was just because the original plastic airbox has a few cracks and things like that in it. So just trialing going out, I'm having a bit of trouble getting the air and fuel mixtures right for it to run at the moment. Is still running, but just not running quite as well, so have to fiddle around with that to get it right. And then during the week we just got stuck into doing the sanding back the plastics. So this one here is the front, goes on the front of the bike, just underneath the headlight, and so sanded all the paint off of that, which is a 240 mil wet sandpaper used to do that, and all the powder on it is just the dry sanding dust. So just need to still finish off a couple little bits, take off this centre metal badge, tidy up the little bit of paint that's left over there. That one there I had done last week. Also did this bit which goes under the seat, so that one's pretty much ready for primer. I was hoping to get primer on today, but the weather's been pretty average, so not a chance to do that yet. And this one here as well goes under down the side, sorry, below the petrol tank along the side of the bike, and that one's been sanded down 240 wet as well. The marks you can see here and here, they won't show you under the paint, but that's just what happens when you heat up these plastic parts with a heat gun, and they got slightly overheated and left that mark on there. So the next little bit we've got here is, this one's already been sanded down as well, but this one needs a little bit of body work, because if the camera picks it up you can just see a small little crack along that section there. So in a second, what we're going to do is we'll just grind out a little bit of that to give it a little bit of depth. Then on the back side of this, we can see, if the camera focuses well enough, you might not be able to make it out there because it's a bit dark under here, but you can see the crack on the back side. So got a little plastic welder here, which is a cheap eBay one, but that'll work fine, where what you do is essentially heat it up, and then that'll melt into the plastic, and you just twist it in a little bit and put a few of these along the crack, and that'll hold it together. Also, what I'll end up doing is just drilling a little hole right at the very end of the crack. That just helps stop the crack expanding any further. So I don't have a tripod, but I'll do my best here just to stick the camera up on the ladder and balance it and see if I can get enough for the right angle on there to be able to capture what I'm doing. Actually, it doesn't look like it's going to do it there. So just bear with me, I might have to turn off the camera and re-come back to it in a second. Alright, so yeah, just finished doing that off camera, and you can see there, that's the little drill hole there that I put in it at the very end of the crack. Then I use this wheel here just to grind out a little bit of the plastic, so we've got some room for filler. Ended up putting 2 hot staples or welds in it on the back there that you can see it just melted into the plastic, so that'll hold it all together. So I'll try and do this one-handed. I'll just prop the camera up for a second. I've got body filler here, just a fine body filler ready to mix up. So if I bear with me a second, I'll get my camera set up, I'll mix up the body filler and I'll put that in at the same time. So let's see how we go. Hopefully that'll sit up there. And you can see with the body filler, hopefully that's caught it on camera there, just a little bit, put some one strip of hardener in it over the top like that, and then what we want to do is just fold it through, try and keep the air bubbles out of it. I've got a bit more than I needed here because I also want to fill just a section on the front panel as well, which as long as I get this on quick enough, I'll be able to show you that on the same video footage here as well. So once it turns that consistent colour, you can't see the pink coming through anymore, you know, you're good to start using it and putting it in the panel. So it should be about right there. So just scrape it a little bit off onto my applicator. Now hopefully that camera's lined up well enough. No, you're gonna do a little bit more than what you need, and then we'll end up sanding it down. I think we'll end up sanding an 80 and a 120, followed by 240. So always try and get a little bit more than what you think you want on there, but reasonably smooth like that, and that should be right. So grab that, show you. So I'm not sure if the camera picked that up, but essentially now we'll just let that dry before we sand it off. Way to that one, just put that down here. Then on this front panel, we've got these two circular holes here which serve no purpose. So what I want to do is just try and fill those up while I've got a bit of putty sitting here as well. So sorry for the very poor camera work. I'm trying to do all this one-handed. So that's the one application there, and you see that it's starting to sit in those holes. So what I might need to do is actually a second coat of body filler once I sand the first one down. The way to avoid that would have been to fill something from behind, so a bit of fiberglass or something like that to stop it dropping through. But given what this project is, and I don't need to go to the extent of making it perfect. Let that one dry. Let that one dry off. Sand them back. Probably do a second coat of filler. And then on next week's video, if all goes to plan, we'll have those two panels ready. We'll have all of these other panels ready, plus probably another one to put in a 2K primer. Once the 2K primer's on, then it'll sit for about a week or so. And then we'll be able to start looking at painting it. When I say looking at painting it, the painting will happen. It's going to be a bit dependent on the weather here, because in the middle of winter here now, so then I really don't like painting in anything under sort of 20 degrees with the sun out, so we'll see how that pans out. But that'll do the video for now. Still looking for any comments, feedback, etc. on what colour you think I should paint it. Another one that I didn't mention in the last video that I was thinking of is actually a metallic purple that kind of flips between black and purple, more of a pearl colour, so it looks black in the dark, looks purple in the light. But anyway, that's enough for today, and we'll see you next Sunday for the next update, and hopefully we've got some primer happening then. Cheers guys.